How you think about yourself and other people and the world we live in affects who you are and what you can become. I am talking today about our perspective on people, the people that surround us. What is the right perspective to have for them so that we can live a full life? Well, that's what we're going to look at today. Hi everyone, my name is Pete Luther, and if we're just meeting, this channel is dedicated to helping you live your life to the full and thrive. I'm here to help you, and we are in the middle of a series on perspective. Last week we looked at the perspective we should have on us, and today we're looking at the perspective we should have on people. So what should our perspective be for the people that we meet? Well, I have 4 different perspectives that I think are really important to have to help us get on well with people and have a full life. So let's get into that. So the first perspective we should have is that people are trustworthy. Now, before you skip on to the next video because you don't agree with me, let me explain what I mean. I believe that we should have a positive attitude towards other people, and therefore we should come at every relationship with a perspective of trust. I am going to trust you. One of the things that I'm involved in is running the local youth centre, and it's a youth centre that's aimed at the young people that hang around the centre of town. And to be honest, they're known for being difficult. Many of them being kicked out of school, are arrested at different points, and I guess could be considered as untrustworthy people. However, that's not the way we as youth workers choose to see them. They come into our youth cafe and we say, hey guys, we believe in you, these are the rules, we expect you to just fit right in, and we expect you to follow these rules and to be trustworthy. Now, this does come with a disclaimer. You cannot just trust anybody with everything. So there are some guidelines that we have for them. For example, they're not allowed in the kitchen where the money is and where the tuck is. And so when they first come, they are not allowed in the kitchen. Now, there was one youth worker who we have been working with for 5 years, and we have built up trust and built up relationship with them, and so they therefore now do go into the kitchen and do operate the tills, and we do operate trust in with them. The point I'm making is that I believe that a great way to start life is to choosing to trust people with little things, with simple things, so that you can build an element of trust. If you give them trust, they're more likely to then return that favour and trust you, and that builds a trustworthy relationship. If you start by doubting people and worrying about whether they're going to do this, that or the other, then it doesn't foster the right environment. It doesn't affect them negatively, and I believe it affects you negatively. My advice then is to trust people, but to have boundaries around that. But boundaries is a whole nother subject. I'm not going to go down that road. The simple point I want to make is we should choose to trust people and make that the starting point. The second reality that we need to be aware of is that people will get away with what you let them get away with. You will play a part in how people treat you. So for example, for the many years I was single in my 30s, I had lots of friends that came around and used my house, and I loved it. I loved that they were there. I love hospitality, I love welcoming people into my home and making people feel special. And so I let them bring in their food and help themselves to drinks, and I loved that perspective. But at the end of every night, I then had to clear up after everybody, pick up their wrappers, do the washing up, or at least pile it where it needs to be washed up. It would be my responsibility to clear up after them. And I have to say that some nights I was really frustrated with these people for not clearing up after themselves. But the truth of the matter is that they weren't doing anything wrong. I just did not have a boundary in place to prevent that from happening, and so they were just being human, being themselves. I'm pretty sure I do the same thing. I'm not always offering to do washing up for people. It's just worth noting how human nature works, and that people do get away with things, and sometimes in order to live a full life, we need to be honest with people. We need to be aware of how we want people to treat us and make sure that we put the right boundaries in place. But as I said, boundaries is another video for another time. But for now, we're talking about perspective, and I think knowing that people do get away with what we let them get away with is a great perspective to have. The third perspective to be aware of is that people will let you down. Nobody is perfect. No one gets it right all the time, and everyone has a different way of understanding what is good behaviour or what is the right way to be, and therefore within the human relationship, we will let each other down. I always tell people I am going to let you down because I'm not God. I'm not perfect. I have flaws, and with all the will in the world, with all the desire in the world, I let people down. I forget about people. I say the wrong thing. I say something that I think is funny, but it upsets them. We should have a perspective in life that people will let us down. We shouldn't hold people to a standard of perfection that they will never meet up to. A really healthy perspective to have is recognising that people will let you down. And then the fourth perspective that I think is really healthy to have on people is recognising that people won't thank you. So I guess this needs a little bit of explanation too. We're told from the Bible that at one point Jesus healed 10 people and he sent them off to go to get checked out, and only one person of them came back to thank him, and that can be really hard. Sometimes we can go over and above and beyond the call of duty for people. We can do so much. We give our all to people, and yet we get no thanks for it. If we have a perspective that we're doing this, if we're loving people, if we're caring for people, if we're working for people, if we're friends with people to get lots back, then I think for the most part we're going to be disappointed. There are those odd people, not odd, maybe special people that do come and thank us, and I work with some amazing people that really encourage me all the time, and it's really, really great. But if I think about my career in nearly 25 years of youth work and helping people, and I think about the percentage of those people that have thanked me for the work that I've done or been grateful, then yeah, less than 1 in 10 is probably true. It might be because I haven't been helpful to them, and that would be a good argument. However, the important thing that I want to say is if only 1 out of 10 people thank Jesus, and Jesus was God, or at least a very, very good person if you don't believe he was God, if he as that example was only thanked by 1 people, then we probably can't expect any more than that. Recognising that people don't have time to recognise that thanks, but actually it's really important to love people anyway, I think is really key. Having the right perspective on people and how they're going to react to you, how they're going to respond to you, I think is really key in living life to the full and thriving. So those are my points and thoughts for you this week. So as always, let me know what you think about that in the comments below. I'd love to interact with you there. The question of the day is, what perspectives do you find helpful when interacting with people, when making friends with people? I'd love to learn from you. As always, click or tap here to watch another video, and click or tap here to subscribe. I make new videos every week helping you live your life to the full and thrive, so I'd love you to join me for this journey.